Hey guys, so one thing as a competitive player I get asked all the time is how do you get ready for each matchup in the meta? That's what this new series is going to cover. We're going to go one by one through the meta scene, covering each deck, how to beat them, and how to take them on. Welcome to 10-Minute Takedown. Hey everyone, so we're going to start this video outright with one of the best decks of the format being Virtual World. This deck is back. This deck is crazy. Yeah, so this isn't one of their best hands, this isn't one of their worst hands, but we're gonna go through it. We're gonna talk about what does the deck do, how to hand trap them, what are some counters that you might be playing, and how do you side deck for Virtual World. We got 10 minutes to do it, guys, so let's go on through it. As we go through the combo video, we will make pauses and talk about hand traps as we go. So Yugioh, Lily, and 3 random cards for this combo. What does Virtual World actually do? Well, they usually go for like Kaliga, Crystal Wing, and a Chuche pop, and a lot of time if they can get it back, they will have Lulu in their hand depending on their opening hand. This is just one combo line, and there may be other ways to play it out, but for the sake of this video, we got 10 minutes. We're not going through their whole combo guide. Them are all over YouTube. Feel free to look them up. So Yugioh, Lily, we're gonna dump the Chuchi and the King Long, meaning here King Long is one of my favorite places to hit them with like an Ash Blossom. Obviously Skullmeister works here too. Skullmeister, you can hit the Chuchi or the King Long, and usually these are cards that are really like helping them extend and do their plays. Ash Blossom on a Lulu also works really strong. You can, we'll talk about Ghost Spell. We don't really hit it in this combo. Like Ghost Spelling like Lao Lao is pretty good. Otherwise, hitting the Yan Yan's effect when it's trying to summon back from the graveyard. Like there's a lot of areas that you can hit with these cards. This particular combo does play through Nibiru. I'm really big on Nibiru for the format, but I'm not really big on Nibiru against Virtual World. No, not all their combos do play around it, but this one happens to do so, and they're going to go ahead with this particular hand. We will get to our Kaliga, our Crystal Wing, our Chuchi. If you have that Veiler, you have that Imperm, you may have already noticed you can't really Veiler or Imperm any of the Virtual World cards because they activate in the hand, but this card right here, Ultimaya Sulkeen, this is a very, very good card to hit with that Veiler, with that Impermanence, because, well, you stop the Crystal Wing from coming out, and that's pretty big. But here we're going to go ahead a little bit further, summon out that Kaliga, and Desires is there, but it was just a random card. So again, 2-card combo, 3 random cards, not playing RNG or anything else. Just what do those 2 cards do? We needed the 2 discards for it, as you saw. But Crystal Wing, Kaliga, and Chuchi. So that means we have a pop. You only get the 1 monster effect and Crystal Wing. Sometimes we will also end with a Shen Shen on board, which is just, Macrocosmos on legs. The deck can get Lulu back. Shen Shen can come back from the graveyard very easily. It has a lot of recursion. I find this deck to be very resilient. Things like Artifact Lancia being one of the bigger blowouts that do hurt this deck quite a bit as far as hand traps go. We already talked about some of the more generic ones where you can hit them. Gamma falling in that same category as Imperm and Veiler, and you would probably go after the Sulkeen with it, with your Ciphering Gear Gamma. So we'll throw some hand trapping stuff here up on the screen so you guys can see that. And if we're going to go a little bit further, some people are main decking Droll and Lockbird. I think that Droll's actually pretty strong in this format. Obviously here it would have stopped the Lulu, but between cards like Lulu, Qinglong, Pot of Desires, they have Stardust Charge Warrior, Coral Dragon, depending on the way they go through their combo. Droll and Lockbird, I'm not saying side it in versus Virtual World, but if you main deck Droll and Lockbird, it's not the worst thing ever versus Virtual World, and maybe you want to side it in. Again, it's one of those cards that's kind of on the fence because it's not always going to be the greatest depending on how they open and what they go for with their combo. So if they're ending on Crystal Wing, Kaliga, and Shen Shen, what do we do? Like, what are some counters? Hand traps aside, what are good cards against them? This is a pretty monster heavy board, right? So things that come to mind instantly are, well, you only get the 1 monster effect, everything goes to the grave from the field, and then Crystal Wing being a monster negate. You have cards like Forbidden Droplet, Dark Ruler No More. Being careful if you have Dark Ruler No More that you want to be able to establish at least 1 link, still play through the Chuchi and clear their board. And remember that the Shen Shen will likely be coming back So keep an eye on that, because obviously you're not doing damage, you're not winning this turn, but it doesn't mean you can't put yourself in a well-established position to take control of that game. Again, Forbidden Droplet, if you're on a budget, Forbidden Chalice is a great option, because, well, you can even like normal summon, and then if they're going to negate it with the Crystal Wing, you can negate the Crystal Wing. Obviously, you will have to have a way to get over the Kaliga, because you're not going to be able to use more monster effects, and keeping in mind that Chuchi can protect it, so card like Cosmic Cyclone, like Twin Twisters, to clear that Chuchi off the field early is also really good. And a good thing about it, guys, Crystal Wing cannot negate it. Sometimes they will go for Dragoon instead of Kaliga, and in that case, I mean, Dark Ruler, Droplet, both still work. Obviously, Forbidden Lance isn't going to be the same. They're going to have a way to protect that Chuchi, but otherwise, even too, like, not many decks are playing Super Poly right now, but you can Super Poly Crystal Wing and Shen Shen into a Mud Dragon, so that's just one way to clear out 2 of the threats on the board. And Mud Dragon actually has enough attack, you can attack over the Kaliga or force the Chuchi, so Super Poly can actually put in some work against Virtual Worlds. And as far as other counters go, I mean, they have Dragon, Psychic, Beast, so a card like, you know, if Rivalry of the Warlords, if you can clear that Chuchi off the field and then flip a Rivalry on them, you're going to put them into an awkward position. But keep in mind too, I mean, not that this is counterproductive with Rivalry, but in the talks of it, like if they're going second, they can make Zeus very, very easily. They have a plethora of XZ's options, like Utopia Beyond, to just make all your monsters have 0 attack, and then they can start beating over them after they bait out negates. Like I said, they can go into Zeus. They have, as far as other options to make, even before Nibiru, they may go into a Gossip Shadow with 2 level 3s. They have Breaksword to pop a card on your field. They have, you know, Crocodragon or Vermilion Mech also to pop cards on your field. So just remember those key points we talked about with the hand traps earlier, and then the blowout cards that we already said. As far as side decking, I think Artifact Lancia, if you're going second, is a fantastic card to side deck against them. Droll Knockbird, again, it's okay, but it's not the worst thing ever. Otherwise, siding in a card like Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler, like these cards to turn off these big monster boards, I would be leery on, say, Sphere Mode, because they're not always going to have 3 monsters on board, and then you're in a really weird position with a dead card in your hand. But yeah, I mean, as far as side decking, if you're going first, you just want to side in your going first cards. I mean, like, do you have going first cards? Like I mentioned, Rivalry of the Warlords is a very good card against this deck. Goes and Match can be a very good card against this. Obviously, Artifact Sanctum Scythe is very good against this deck. Summon Limit, pretty much any of these good going first traps are just really strong against the deck. And especially if you can stop their turn before they can set up that pop from Chuchi or have a way to negate it, you're just going to be in a really good position. So Virtual World, by no means is it unbeatable, but the deck can be a little bit tricky. And again, this wasn't even their best combo that we had showed, but it was one of their 2-card combos, and they have enough of them. So keep in mind, quick refresher, like I said, Ash the Qinglong, Ash the Lulu, hitting a bell on the Nyan Nyan or the Lao Lao, you know, imperming, stopping that Soul King from getting the Crystal Wing out. These are just some of the really good options that you will have at your disposal, and then you'll just have to, you know, play through Shen Shen or the Kaliga with the Chuchi pop and those as well. Hopefully this video does help you guys out a little bit. If you want me to do things slightly different moving forward, just let me know. I know I talk a little bit fast, but I feel like I went slow enough that you could understand me. But the idea here is Takedown, 10 minutes is our goal. We'll see how it does. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and next time coming soon, Drytron. So take care, guys, hit that subscribe button, and see you next time.